Hey guys, we are
Okay.
live.
Hey Ash, what's going on? Gabby,
Hey Jeff.
good morning, good evening.
Good evening.
Great. So let's kick this off. So I obviously want to say anyone who's out there who's joining, coming in right now, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to our first ever exhibition introducing Gabby Dizon, who has just a wonderful art gallery full of amazing artists that we actually have here with us today that we will individually introduce to everybody. For those that are not familiar with us, I am Jeff Holmberg. I am the strategy officer here at Terra Virtua. If you want to check us out, we are going to be talking about the art gallery portion of our platform today. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter to stay in touch with new artists that might be coming on board, some new features, you can follow us at T Virtua Art, at TVIRTUAART. So let's just, we got the boring stuff out of the way. Let's jump into the fun stuff. I want to introduce Gabby. Gabby, if you want to talk a little bit about yourself, and then let's jump into the artists. Get to it.
Sure, yeah, very quickly. I'm a game developer and entrepreneur in the blockchain state. Started out with blockchain games, and that's where I discovered NFTs. And then ever since early this year, I've really gone down the rabbit hole of crypto art. Just started by buying a few random pieces here and there uh, in Maker's Place, and then just discover the different art platforms. Kind of started discovering the style of what kind of artwork I like to collect. So it's been a really fun ride the entire year, especially as crypto art has grown dramatically during the year. Helped bring a few artists in, and along the way, I discovered the Terra Virtual Art Gallery app. And one of the things when you have a lot of artwork is that it's hard to really display them. You can display them on a website, or you can kind of post them to Instagram. But what I really wanted was a really nice art gallery application where I can show off my artworks. And yeah, I just really fell in love with kind of walking around in their virtual art gallery. So yeah, we have a pretty nice treat for you today. We're here with four of the artists that I absolutely adore. I've collected a lot of their art, and yeah, we're gonna see some of the artworks that I've collected, and we're gonna be with the artists themselves so that they can talk a little bit more about it.
Welcome, everybody. So let's start going around one at a time. I guess I'll just go in order of what I see in the screen. So, Shelly, if you want to jump in, introduce yourself, tell us, a little about yourself, where you're from, what kind of art you're doing.
Hi, I'm Shelly Soneja. I'm an art director for mobile and blockchain games. I'm based in the Philippines, and I'm a self-taught artist. Some of my past work experience includes working for advertising, working on animatics and storyboards, and I also work for freelancing for like a total of 5 years, and then I ended up working in games. My art influences include comics, manga, anime. So I'm really into character design. I mostly focus on female portraits depicted in different themes. I'm also very interested in like magical, supernatural themes. So you can see like a lot of my work later on covers that kind of theme.
Awesome. I can't wait to get to this. So let's go in. Daniela, if you want to jump in, same thing. You want to tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, what kind of style you do?
Hi, I'm Daniela, or Danny. I go by Danny usually. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, so that's very different to everyone else, I think. I mostly do line art on my iPad, on Procreate, and I'm very inspired by nature and portraits especially. I do a lot of pop art. I like movies, musicians, and yeah, that kind of thing. Movies from when I was little. I had parents who grew up in the 80s, so a lot of classic movies and 80s
Don't be
music.
like that. I grew up in the 80s.
we're all just like, oh, wait, we're all from the 80s. No,
yeah.
I mean, I am anyway. But
I guess I'm 21, so maybe I'm the baby here. So not
awesome,
not your guys' fault. It's me. I'm just
young doing cult art from the 80s. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's such a wonderful period. So I think it's so awesome that everything's kind of cyclical, right? We always think, like, I think it's like 40 years ago, and we still think there's some styles and movie styles that are trying to still go back to that era. So that's awesome. So welcome, Danny. I'm going to move on to Caroline now. Caroline, if you want to jump in, same thing. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing. If you guys just want to take the mic away from me, please go ahead. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I'm Caroline D. I'm the lead technical artist at our company. Sorry, I'm also in game development. I actually work with Shelly. Um, and I also like a lot of character art. That's something that we have in common since I also grew up in comics and video games. So I'm kind of like a huge nerd, and a lot of my art is influenced by um, that scene. Yeah, so comics and video games. Yeah, that's it.
It's cool. Hey, I'm the same. I'm actually a big gamer, and and I'm 38 and I still game. So I mean, I'm a nerd too. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So many different backgrounds, and now we have Czech. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that right. I've heard a few different pronunciations, but I want you to clarify it. We are getting the real pronunciation live right here now. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, same thing, some background on your art.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm Czech and I'm based in Brazil, and I'm an artist. And as the girl said, I love comics too. And my mainly themes, I think, is figure drawing. I love it, and crypto art has been such a wonderful way to portray art. And I always wanted to be a concept artist, but now I just want to be an artist. And I don't know, that's it, I think. And I just like to paint, I guess.
That's fine. That's fine. I think we'll let all the artworks do the talking here for us, right? I think everybody obviously, of course, has a nice eclectic background, but let's jump into it. Ash, I don't know. I know you're driving this behind the scenes, but why don't we just go right into the gallery and get this party started over here and take a look at some of these ladies' artworks.
So
Awesome.
what
So Gabby,
I really love about the gallery is that it's made in Unreal Engine, so it's actually using an actual game engine, and you can walk around as if you were actually going around walking in a 3D game, and it really gives it a real art gallery feel. Look at the way it's set up, and look at just how just the quality of the artwork that is being displayed there. Everything is high res. So it's a wonderful way to really show off your collection that I've really never gotten to kind of feel just looking at my wallet elsewhere. Yeah, so let's get started. I'll give a short background. I think one of the common things that you hear about the different artists say is that a lot of them like drawing portraits. It's actually something that I discovered when I started buying a lot of these artworks, is that I found myself drawn to portraits. And of course, it's not 100% that, but yeah, I really like portraits of all kinds. I like the expression of the human figure, and I just find myself drawn to it. And I think it's a common theme across all of a majority of the art I've collected. So yeah, we can go through it one by one, and then yeah, I just love for the artist to kind of just speak a little bit about what they created. Let's start with Shelly.
Hey, so this piece of mine is called Demon Gangster Girl. Like I mentioned, I have been inspired by a lot of Japanese culture, and this whole concept of the demon girl wearing the Sukajan jacket. There's not really like a deep meaning behind it, but I just really love character design. So I just really wanted to make this, badass demon character. And I made it entirely. This is my first artwork that I made entirely on the iPad using Procreate and Medibang. And then I added animations to it using Photoshop and Hit Film Express. Yeah, so
I really love the touch of kind of a static portrait that has a little bit of animation. It really adds a lot of character to it, and I think it kind of makes it stand out and be unique as a kind of a something that you can really only do digitally. So yeah, I really like this.
yeah, to add to that, I think that's what I like about crypto art and being able to present your art in like, using the digital format, right? Because usually I would be like selling prints of my digital artwork and they're just static. And then the idea of being able to sell like, animated GIFs or videos, and then the idea that people would actually want to pay money for it, I think that's the greatest thing for me, like about crypto art. So same thing with this one. It's also another animated piece. So it's my favorite. It's based on the Green Fairy. It was actually originally a piece for a limited edition postcard set. It's by a group of me and my girlfriends, and then we put this project together to make this postcard print set. This is supposed to be called Booze Babes. So it's like personification of alcoholic drinks. So this is the Green Fairy, and she has the blue flame. I added the animation when I tokenized it because I wanted it to be different from the limited edition prints. So the blue flame is like, representing the blue flame that you see when you burn the sugar cube, right? When you drink absinthe. So yeah, that's it.
It's the prettiest piece of absinthe I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you. Okay, so this next piece is called Mesmerize. It's actually a collaboration piece with Pranksy. It's one of my big collectors. He always buys a lot of my art. So this collaboration is supposed to be like an interpretation of his Avastar. So he has like two versions of it, right? So there was his Avastar actually just looks like a normal human being with tattoos on her face. And then he also has his profile pic, which is like a darker version with like red skin and dark hair. And then I thought like, oh, let me play with that kind of concept of, being dark. And like, since I'm really like into making demon girls or like supernatural girls, I just thought about making his Avastar into like a demon.
So that means you have a naughty streak in you.
Yeah, I do.
The infamous red Pranksy profile picture. I was actually just talking with him yesterday. We're going to be part of the Pranksy calendar. I think we go on the 21st. I don't remember the exact date for our drop. I'll have to check. Maybe on that. Maybe it's supposed to be secret, but
this piece is, I think, the most recognizable one of everything Shelly has done in crypto art. And yeah, a huge part of it is because of the reach that Pranksy has. And he's kind of show this off kind of in his profile. So yeah, this is probably Shelly's most recognizable digital artwork.
And Shelly, I just want to ask, as we go through, I'll probably ask all these artists, what do you think of the gallery? I mean, looking at the lighting and the floor and just to the general structure of the gallery, just from an artist and how a collector, is looking for viewership, within their collection. What do you feel so far about this? I'd love to hear your just a quick general opinion about the platform as we go through your art.
I think it's really great. The way the artwork is presented is it's just very crisp and very clear. With everything around, like when you see the background, also like everything is rendered beautifully, and then like the art is just very high res, and you can really appreciate the details that go into the piece. Because sometimes
even
like when you see
the lighting, that the way it kind of the light spotlights on the artwork, it's a really nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, it just really puts the artwork front and center. Like it really makes you focus on it, and I just love it.
Yeah, that was our goal. That was our goal. Just to be able to, instead of looking at a thumbnail, in Trust Wallet or even MetaMask Mobile, this is what art is really meant to be. It should be hung on a wall. You should be kind of spotlighted. It feels larger than life, right? When you go in there, it gives you that really big sense of a large painting. For those that don't know, you keep seeing, this right here. Ash, if you want to leave it, the title in a crown and the exhibitor collection. There's a lot of information on each artwork that will pop up depending on your collection that you put into here. With a little description of the artwork. As you can see, main menu. Unfortunately, this is actually Gabby's art gallery, so you can't add it to wish list because it's his. But there will be an option for other art that is for sale
If you
to
want to
add to
buy it
your
from
wish
me,
list.
you'll have to DM me after this stream.
Listen, I've started following you on what you've been doing with art, and I'm just like, I see. I actually found another artist that I think you bought something, like he was doing like almost like a free giveaway, very very small, just to cover gas fees, and I found him, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I started following him, so I'm keeping my eye. I mean, I just I met Shelly, I met everybody on this stream through you, and I'm just like starting to follow their art, and my wallet doesn't like them, but I do. But I'm trying to build up my personal art collection as well, so getting to know all these artists and seeing their works is really awesome. So sorry, Shelly, didn't want to jump in on your exhibition here. So please continue.
It's okay. So we're on this piece, right? In a Crown. So yeah, this is more of a personal piece. So like, I was going through like a tough time, a transitional phase in my career, and then going through a lot of personal problems. So I was experiencing a lot of fear, a lot of self-doubt. But then I made it out okay. So like a lot of that doubt was just all in my head. And then I just wanted to like be able to remind myself that, eventually like you can overcome these mental struggles that you go through. So like in a Crown. So in a way it's just showing like how I just conquered that. And then I came out of it a better person.
I've found out with a lot of artists that I talk to, like a lot of their best art actually comes from maybe some of the most difficult times in their lives. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think also like art, like even if the artwork that you output doesn't really show it, but like the very act of creating and then putting a piece out there is also a way to like cope with like issues and problems that you encounter. So yeah, it's very therapeutic. Oh, so for this next piece, this is also another piece that I made as part of a project with my girlfriends. It's actually part of a limited edition calendar project. So we each were given a different month to create artwork around. So I got October, and then this was the piece that I made. I just like the idea of making this cute witch girl with a cat, and then like matcha latte because that's my favorite kind of drink. And then the idea of putting like this green drink in a cauldron is just really cute. So that's what I did here. And then I made it different for the NFT by adding this slight animation of the smoke coming out of the drink.
What are you using to create this stuff? What's if someone wanted to look at your art and say, all right, how would I make this? Because as I joked before when we were doing some testing, I can't even draw a stick figure. I am just completely inept on art. But I'm just curious, and I'm sure there's others out there. What kind of systems do you use to create this? Are you doing a hand drawing? Are you doing computer graphics, animation? I probably sound like an idiot since I don't know. So I'm gonna just pass it on to you, and maybe you can share some of that.
Okay, so I just use drawing programs like Photoshop, but my favorite program to draw on is Clip Studio Paint. And then, so I would be drawing on a screen display tablet. It's like when you draw directly on the screen, instead of just using a tablet where you have the tablet on the side and you're looking at the screen. So this is a more intuitive experience, right? If you're just drawing directly on the screen. So that's what I use to create. And the animations, mostly on Photoshop, and then or like Hit Film. So that's like a video editing software.
Cool.
So they're digital art, but they're hand drawn. Like I'm actually drawing the lines myself and constructing it. So that's what I do.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on and walking us through some of these artworks. Everyone out there, Shelly, if you want to drop your socials for people that are watching, if you want to give Shelly a follow, stay in touch with her and check out her art, please, if you want to share your socials.
Oh, sure. I'm on Twitter, Shelly Saneha, And I'm also on Instagram, Art of Shelly Slaneha, and I'm also on Known Origin, Rarible, just all all Shelly Slaneha, so you can find me.
Great. Well, thanks
Yeah.
again, Shelly.
Thank you.
Definitely looking forward to looking at what you're going to create in the future, and looking forward to, I think, coming on to Terra Virtua in the near future.
Yeah.
Wink,
We'll
wink.
see. Yeah, wink, wink. So let's see what happens. I mean, I'm the worst at these because this is why so many people come. They're like, "Oh, Jeff's speaking." It just like I just regurgitate like secret stuff. The team is just. I'm starting to wonder if they even want me to put on like live feeds anymore because I always feel pressured to be like, "Oh, we got this coming. We have this coming." So I always drop like secrets and artists that are going to come on. So I'm the worst. I'm going to shut up. But again, thank you, Shelly.
Thanks so
Ash,
much,
if you
Shelly.
could,
Really love your work.
yes. And now, want to
Okay,
introduce
now
our
we're moving on to Danny. So while we're getting Daniela up on the screen, so I originally found Danny's work in Super Rare, and then I've followed her to Rarible and to Known Origin, and just by sheer number of works, yeah, I have a lot of Danny's work in my wallet. Just yeah, I was looking; it's probably over 10. Hard. I've lost count now. So yeah, let's go through a few. Honestly, it was really hard to pick just a few for this event. But yeah, let's go through them.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you're probably my first main patron, so I'm really grateful. Thank you. So this one was Dolly. It was actually a collaboration with Michael, who's on Twitter. Just inspired by Salvador Dali, because I was saying about being inspired by kind of the greats before. He was much before the 80s, though, unlike the other ones. So he did the kind of the splatter background and the animation, and I did the portrait in the middle. And Dali's got such a great face as well to draw. His expression is just amazing, and his moustache. So that was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
And I may as well ask you this question early, Danny. Since I asked Shelly, I'm so curious. What do you do? What kind of processes do you use in order to create your art? Is it hand drawn, computer, same thing?
No, well, I have an iPad, so I draw on the screen, also on Procreate. I usually get reference pictures and make sort of like a collage of them first, and then use that as a reference and draw on my iPad. There's
Great.
like a neon brush that I use. I like the neon effect.
Cool how people do so many different things for this. Crazy. It looks really good. It's funny. I have to say, I don't know if you guys seen or Netflix, but there's a show called Money Heist, and I've become addicted to watching it. And it's about bank robbers, and one of the masks that they use are Dali masks, right? And it's really they've kind of really focused the show on these Dali masks, so it really stood for a symbol. So it always makes me think when I see art, it just makes me think of the TV show. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't think that anyone would ever compare my art to bank robbers, but that's
right. No, listen. If anyone hasn't seen the show, Money Heist is an awesome show. Believe me, they just put Dali right on this huge pedestal, and
I'm gonna
funny.
print my own version of my Dali mask from Danielle's work.
So this one is a series, a very long name, Study and Sensuality Part 1, Scarlet. So there are 3 artworks. Well, there's 6 artworks, 3 of a woman, 3 of a man. And it's about kind of people in their private moments with nature. The thorns are kind of protection that we put up for other people. And when we're alone, often I find especially when I'm alone and stressed, I like to sit outside or by water, and it really calms me down. So for me, nature is a really big part of my inspiration.
I really love just this whole series that Danny did, and you can see the expression, just even like how the hand is drawn, how the body is drawn, just the combination with nature. Yeah, it's really amazing, and I just love this.
Thank you so much. Okay.
This one's super
Thor.
cool.
I'm really inspired by folklore and mythology. I did some genetic test and it said I was like 40% Viking, which I don't know how accurate that is, but it was exciting for me. So Vikings and Norse mythology is very, very inspiring. And it flickers between his name in English and in Norse runes, Old Norse runes. At the
So
bottom.
this particular artwork looks just so much better here in the art gallery, even better than when you see it in Super Rare. And actually, the first time I discovered Danny was when she made the Odin version of this. And funnily enough, like a day after I bought it, a friend of mine in Discord named Odin immediately bought it from me. So I had to go back to Super Rare and buy the Thor version because I lost the first artwork of Danny that I immediately bought. And yeah, so if you can see just like the subtle animations, just the way that Thor is drawn, I just really love this style.
Thank you. Yeah, the lightning as well was really fun.
Oh, Odin is here in the stream. Hi, Odin.
Oh, there he is, Odin. What is going on? Odin has helped me out with some stuff in Discord, and it's so funny how this just goes 360 because I think he shared some art with me. I think some Odin art, and I don't know if he wants to confirm in the chat, but we've chatted about it, and that's just so funny that you're the artist that has created this, and then it went to Odin, and I think he might have previewed it to me if I remember correctly.
So the Odin artwork that
cool.
Odin got was actually the only reason that he is even on Super Rare.
That's cool. That's awesome. I just want to say I can see that we've had like a whole bunch of people coming in to join us. I do want to address this in case there are any questions that we are going to be doing walkthroughs and exhibitions of several artists from around the world. We're going to be doing this monthly. So stay in tune with us. Give us a follow on Terra Virtua on Twitter, jump in our Discord or Telegram. But back to the show. Just want to kind of answer that from somewhere.
So this one is Rusalka, which is based on a water spirit from Slavic folklore. It's a little different from my normal line art style. This one I try to do more comic book type style. Everyone seems to like comic books, yeah. Also, again, to do with nature, water for me is really important. Whenever I'm stressed, being by the water sorts it out. So water spirits and different characters to do with water from folklore, Poseidon and everything are very interesting to me.
Very pretty stuff. Very pretty. Very soothing type of art, right? I think that's really cool. I really love your style. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. That's my goal.
Yeah, for
My
sure.
goal is to make people happy. If I can make anyone feel slightly better with their day, then that's my.
No, and I'm really big. I mean, I'm half Greek, so of course, I love Greek mythology and things of that nature. So, especially when I saw your Thor, hear about Odin, and it makes me want to look into your other work because I just love the whole mystical nature of those characters and things like that. So, if you ever want to do a Greek piece, you might have
on the list. Don't worry.
Yeah, definitely give me a ping. Seriously, if you do work on one, let me know so I can check it out. But again, Danny, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciated your artwork, so cool. But we're definitely looking forward to, I think, you as well, perhaps coming on the Terra Virtua platform in the near future. So, guys, if you want to check out Danny, if you want to drop your socials so the community can give you a follow, stay in contact with you.
Yeah, I'm Daniela Doodles on Instagram and Twitter.
Cool. So guys, go follow Daniela Doodles. Stay in touch and do me a favor. Send her a message and make her do some Greek mythology paintings and drawings for me because I'm selfish and want to see them. But no, all jokes aside, thank you so much, Danny. So
thank you.
Great. So Gabby, if you want to, or Ash, if you guys want to bring on the next artist that we have.
Okay, so I think Caroline is next. So Caroline is actually a very good friend of mine that I've known for a very long time. So probably since maybe 14 years. I got her into crypto art earlier this year, and yeah, she's robbed me of a lot of ETH, but I've been a happier person because of it.
Welcome, Caroline.
Hi. So I guess do I talk about that piece that we were looking at? All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this was kind of like early in my crypto art journey, and I think I just really wanted to paint like a portrait, and then I kind of thought of like what I've been thinking about lately, and it's since I was in crypto art, I was thinking mostly about ETH. So this is that was kind of the idea with this piece. It was sort of supposed to be a self portrait, but it kind of just it kind of evolved. It doesn't
I
really
was
look
about to say
like
it
me.
kind of looks like you a little bit. And it took the words right out of my mouth. So I was going to ask, like, was this? I mean, was the
It's
inspiration
like a video game version of a self
right?
portrait,
I
right?
was like,
Yeah.
what was the inspiration for this? Because it kind of awkwardly looked a little bit just like you. But no, that's cool.
It's
Self
her
inspiration.
thinking of all of the ETH she's gonna get from her collectors.
Yeah,
Gabby mostly.
yeah, cool.
Okay, so for this piece, Secrets, I painted this originally actually for my super rare submission. But I don't think I got in. But
It's
I
there, Law.
really I really like this piece. I don't really paint a lot of men. Like most of the time, I paint women because they're just easier for me to paint, I guess. So this was kind of like practice for painting painting the male figure, and I also kind of it kind of evolved, and I added the raven to it, and it kind of just gave me that feel of like it's sort of a dark theme. And the idea was that the raven was whispering secrets to the guy, and that's why there's like uh sort of like darkness that's starting to creep up on his skin. So yeah, that was the idea behind this.
And I love how it's so unique, and in some facets people could even call it minimal artwork, and it's really beautiful. So I've asked the other two artists that were guests, same thing for you, Caroline. What are you using to create these artworks? What are some of the routines and styles that you're using, or even programs, computer, hand, etc.?
Like Shelly, I also use Clip Studio Paint a lot. I also use Photoshop. Those are the two programs that I use mostly. When I do animations, though, I sometimes I change it up and use different programs. So sometimes it's on Photoshop, and sometimes I use this software that we use for work called Spine. So yeah,
Cool, good to
that's what
know.
I use. This is actually one of those pieces. If you can see, there's like subtle animation. I
Oh
added
yeah,
some breathing to this character and some blinking. This is one of the pieces that I animated using Spine. Um,
This is your
the
Genesis
idea,
work in Known Origin, right?
yeah, yeah. So I just like the idea of witches, and the idea behind this is kind of like she controls plants. Um, so I just wanted the breathing to kind of match like the movement of the plants, and just kind of give it a little bit of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a super dynamic artwork, and I really enjoyed staring at it. Again, it's one of those things that you cannot get staring at a physical print, and I really love that. It really makes use of the kind of digital medium very well, and that's why I love it
it reminds me of like a fairy tale story when I look at that artwork
very
too.
much. So actually, a lot of
Yeah,
Caroline's work kind of looks like it comes from kind of a fantasy series.
Mm.
Hmm.
That those are the themes that I really gravitate towards, like magical, fantasy. Like I said, I'm a huge nerd.
Super cool.
uh, so this piece is one of the pieces that I made like almost right after I had like a really dark moment this earlier this year. And this was also early when I got into crypto art. Crypto art actually helped me a lot to cope with everything that's been going on this year with the pandemic. And I think I drew this piece mostly to kind of like express how I was starting on my journey of healing. Um, like I when I started essentially trying out stuff like meditation and yoga. That's when I started kind of feeling a lot better. And this was, yeah. So that was kind of the the piece that helped me put those feelings into a picture.
It looks like the cover of kind of a fantasy novel, if you ask me. I love the expression on that, and just how, yeah, just how there's a lot of emotion that's been poured into it.
I think it's important too, and this is why I love hearing all the backgrounds of all these artists that are coming on today. Is that there's definitely inspiration from so many different facets in life and different even time periods. That's really cool. I know I'm really glad that you find inspiration putting that into your art. I'm a big believer in expressing yourself. As you can see, I do it with music, but that's really cool. Good for you.
Thank you. Okay, so this piece was a collaboration with Kitty Bast. She drew the base for the doll, and then I put the tattoos on. And the inspiration for this was actually a video game that I love playing. It's
Which game
called
was that?
Yakuza. So the title of this piece is actually like one of the side quest in the game, and kind of just I kind of just wanted to draw this badass um yakuza, well, female yakuza, because like the yakuza culture is mostly male, right? You don't really see a lot of female tattooed female tattooed females. So that is what I wanted to kind of put into this piece, and I really really like working on this, and hope that I'll be able to collaborate with her again in the future, because it was just great working with her.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
for
this
me,
is a
I would
badass
say
piece.
that this is one of the kind of signature pieces in my collection. I really love collaborations, especially collaborations between like two artists that I really adore. And it's a shame I don't have all day here because would have loved to have Kitty Bast here as well. Really love her work. And yeah, just this collab between Caroline and Kitty is just probably I bought it maybe within 5 minutes after they posted it.
No, this is super badass. I just don't think there's another word
Look at
for
the
it.
detail on those tattoos, right? And on the
Yeah, it's
kimono.
this is pretty awesome. I will say, even if Caroline doesn't know, I had a conversation with Kitty about coming on to Terra Virtua. So hopefully we'll see, maybe another collaboration sometime soon here. Wink, wink, Caroline. We.
So
I
much winking going on this
I know.
today.
Listen, this is the cool part about my job and the bad part about it. I have all the awesome artists come on. I get introduced to so many cool people. I get to talk to awesome people on Twitter, Discord all day, and then I'm just like, and then I get a chance to really deep dive into understanding their art, or obviously through an exhibition like this. I'm just like, all right, well, I have to add this to my list. I gotta buy this. I gotta. It's like I said, my wallet hates me, but I'm having a great time. So I do want to say though, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. If you want to share your socials, just so the community can give you a follow and check out your stuff. And I think again, we'll go back to the wink wink that we should perhaps seeing some of your art on Terra Virtua sometime soon as well. So please, if you want to share your socials and where people can get in touch with you.
Yes, I go by Draw Right Play on Twitter and Instagram, although I mostly post on Twitter.
Cool. Great. Well, again, awesome art. Thanks for coming on and joining us. And, hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Question from the community. So on gallery, I see preview, exhibition, and gallery. What's the difference? So right now we are going through our user Gabby Dizon. Oh, this question went off the screen. Where is it? We're going through our community member Gabby Dizon's art gallery. Oh my God, I said it. Dizon. Sorry, Gabby. Gabby Dizon. We had a conversation about this yesterday, but this is his personal gallery of his personal artworks. If you want to preview some of the work, there will be art on the platform that is coming by multiple artists from around the world. You'll be able to preview that and actually purchase that. This just happens to be artwork that is owned by Gabby that we brought into our ecosystem just for showcase purposes. But as you can see, when he goes through, next time we go through the paintings, you'll see some pop-ups. You can interact with the paintings. Of course, you can customize these paintings around, assuming that if this was your gallery and not Gabby's, you can move the paintings any which way you want. You can do it actually sort it by artists. So you have collections by certain artists. And there might be too many paintings to put in here. We wanted to give you some of those sorting options. And this is just a start. We just launched this not too long ago. So we are exploring with feedback from the community. So if you guys want to get involved, again, jump in our Twitter, Discord, and talk to us about some of the things that you'd want to see. But the exhibition portion of it is really allowing collectors just like Gabby to showcase the art that they own. So, if you want to get involved in that, you're a big collector, come onto the platform, get used to the platform, download the art gallery, just have a chat with us. If there's artists that you like to collect that you want to see coming onto the platform, or, someone's art that you want to do an exhibition of, reach out to us. We're very open to chatting about art. We're really trying to build our art community here. And as you can tell by me being a sucker and wanting to buy everything I see, we're very friendly towards having that chat with people. So I don't want to talk forever, but let's jump into our next wonderful artist. Check, welcome. All right. I know you've been waiting.
Before I let her speak, I'd also like to say a few things. So I think that Czech is really one of the most special artists in the crypto art space. Kind of discovered her very early in my collecting journey. And the really nice thing about crypto art, as opposed to maybe buying at kind of a physical art gallery where you don't know who the artists are, is that you kind of you're able to also develop a relationship between collector and artist. And I think this adds a lot of meaning towards when you're collecting the artworks of these artists as well. So, with Czech and with the other artists here, I've had the chance to talk to them and really just progress and really get better at their artwork. And just for me, Czech is one of the special artists in.
Thank you. Wow. That's really amazing to hear. And I guess I have to talk about my art now. So this one is Architect Hands, and it's on a bigger series that I did earlier this year. The series name is Slowly Sudden Death, and the whole series has this contradiction because you slowly sudden dying. It doesn't make sense, but I wanted to incorporate this contradiction on all the artworks on the series. And this one is about creating art and painting. And as the girl said before, the act of creating something is really magical and crazy, and this big contradiction. And on this artwork, I wanted to like give the sense of your like getting out of your reality of the matrix, but you're also entering another one, your own matrix. Like you're entering this creation state, and the eye up above is like your eye as an artist, but at the same time is a sort of like you can see your art creating it, but at the same time is your own eye, you just have your perspective. So it's it's kind of this meaning, I guess, of the piece.
No, that's great. And I'm going to jump in right on the first art piece if you want to talk about, how you create your art. I know we're getting into some exciting ones here. So, what type of systems, hand, computer do you use to do your artwork?
I use a normal computer, and I usually use Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint too, like standard programs. And to animate it, I use usually After Effects and Photoshop sometimes, and that's it. It's not really complicated.
Not complicated for someone like you. Someone like me, it would be complicated. But great, this piece looks wonderful. So I'm excited to hear about this one.
Thank you. This piece was an awesome collaboration between Jokreg and me. It actually has music on it, and he had the idea of doing this girl who jacks into the head of another person, and she can feel what the other person feels. And this is like the Matrix too. We both love cyberpunk, and he thought of this concept, and I found it so amazing. I always wanted to do like a more cyberpunk piece, but I didn't have like a good idea about it. And his idea and his music was just like the best way of channeling this energy I have for cyberpunk, and we came up with this piece that is like sound,
Yeah.
animation, painting, everything at the same time.
Why'd you buy this
So
one,
I'll,
Gabby?
I'll, I'll add a couple of things. Yeah. So Czech usually does more of kind of emotional, evocative, like very, yeah, emotional pieces. And this is a really special one because, as you can see, it's very cyberpunk. And to really appreciate this artwork, you have to listen to it. And like you have to stare at it and listen to it. And yeah, it was really captivating just seeing the style of Czech, like going into cyberpunk and having Joker's music layered on top of it. And yeah, I also consider this kind of one of the signature pieces of my collection.
Yeah, this is definitely an exciting one. I love that this whole cyberpunk feel of that. So you nailed that one. It's a pretty one. Now this one's really interesting. So I want to hear both of you go through. Gabby, why you picked this one up? Check. I want to know the inspiration in creating this. I'm very very curious on this one.
Okay, so this piece it makes part of the same series. You can see by the colors. And this one is called Metamorphosis, and it's like changing. It's about changing and how terrifying it can be to change. And that's why I made her like with a bunch of terrifying eyes all over her face and her neck too. Like this symbolizes this ego death and also rebirth. The butterfly is like this symbol of like changing and growing, but also dying and living, and this contradiction at the same time. Um, the, the blood is like not too graphic because I just wanted to be like almost as a joke, like, and I don't know, this is really contradictory to me, but I wanted to create like this meaning of change and how terrifying it can be, because change to me is really really difficult and is always terrifying, and I wanted to portray it some way in the series.
No, it's clever. I really like the explanation behind it. Gabby, what drew you to that piece?
Okay, so I think you also heard it with Caroline and with Shelly. I think a lot of artists, when they draw art that is kind of very personal, it's almost like you are peering into their soul. And I think almost every artist that has produced a really great work, there's this kind of honesty in this very work that is very personal. And this is definitely one of those for Czech. Like, yeah. So for me, I don't see a face with all of these eyes. I just see the insecurity and the change and the growth in the person and the artist behind it. And this is why I love this work.
Awesome. So, oh, cool. I thought we were going somewhere different there. So this one's cool. I'm curious from this one too.
Yeah, this was the first artwork that Gabby collected for me.
That's
actually.
right.
It's very special to me because wow, I was so blown away. Like when I saw this one, I cried and jumped. It was crazy. And this one is about I like this group called Atari Teenage Riot, and it's like a punk, crazy techno group. And this song, they had this song "Blood in My Eyes," and it's a really powerful song. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's about violence and trauma and overcoming violence. And I think that I wanted to portray it like in a woman, and how powerful she can be even in face of uh, in face of trauma or violence. And it's not like I wanted to empower her in some way. The song really empowers the person who hears it. So the artwork is just a depiction of it. I guess like the blood flowing out of her eyes. It's like she's, I don't know. This piece is really complicated to me to.
No, it's definitely unique, and I think I get it too, and I think I understand. You know, sometimes I'm a musician on the side too. It's one of my side hobbies. I've been doing it for over 20 years, and I always think about the type of inspiration that music and songs can give to you and really inspire you to do works. And I know just from like on the music side, it's hard to explain where that exact or bottleneck down that inspiration and really explain what it's coming from into the music. So sometimes just things are better left unsaid, right? I think whatever inspires you, sometimes others, nobody besides you will be able to understand it. I know that there was a question somewhere in one of the communities from that. I just got a ping about it. But for those that do or want to incorporate any type of audio into their art, you will have audio in the Terra Virtua gallery here. So for those who are asking that question or whoever asked that question or artists that might be curious, can I include audio in my NFT art collectibles? Yes, the answer is yes. So cool. Well, Czech, thank you so much for coming on today. If we could, I think we had it up before, but if you just want to run through where people can find you on some socials or how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. Is Czech_art on Twitter and Czech.art on Instagram, and just hit me there, and yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on today. Some fantastic stuff, and another wink. I think we might have some stuff in the pipeline with Czech on Terra Virtua coming soon. So I know I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure others are as well. So again, thank you. And Ash, I don't know if you wanted to bring everybody on.
Let's bring everyone on for a bit.
Yeah. So here's all of our wonderful artists again today. If you guys have any questions for myself, Gabby, or in particular the artists, please ask away. We want to keep this fun. It doesn't have to be too serious. If you're curious about a particular artwork from an artist or interested in learning more about their process or their inspirations or anything about the Terra Art Gallery and how we'll be working in tandem with artists such as these ones that are here today, let us know. So we will open
So
the floor for some questions and see what people want.
while we're waiting for questions, one thing I will say that is super special about crypto art is, you're not just going to a website and buying pretty pictures of a screen. So I don't think of myself as buying artwork. I think of myself as investing in an artist's career. So I'm here investing in the careers of four of these very talented artists, and I want to make sure that everyone around the world looks at their work, shows how amazing it is, and just see them really progress in their art careers and just paint the stuff that they want to paint and find an audience that would appreciate it for what it is. So that is the beauty of crypto art. You can kind of connect with these talented artists from all around the world. You can build your personal connection with the person you're buying the art from. It also helps that with crypto you can buy the art immediately. When the art is sold, the artists get a royalty automatically. It's just an amazing platform for art, and it's really one of the highlights of my year is being able to collect crypto art, and especially of these four artists. All right. So, okay, I'll answer this on one question from the community. Where do you see crypto art spaces going? So I think we're still in a very early process of discovery in crypto art. So you've seen, some platforms become more popular, and then another one pops up, and then a lot more, I would say, digital artists are coming into the space. You're seeing a lot more traditional artists go into the space. So it's just this really fertile time for experimentation. And I would say that's for artists that are coming into crypto art. Don't I guess it's the best time to experiment. Don't get so hung up on the sales. Of course, the sales will happen, and there's room for the market to grow. There's room for just ordinary geeks or crypto owners to become art collectors. We've seen that explode. But yeah, I think this is just a really great time to experiment and see what you can do as an artist and how you can connect with a particular audience on that.
No, that's awesome, and I appreciate that answer. I do actually have a question for Caroline from the community. We have a whole bunch of questions. For Caroline, how do you keep the balance between lines and colors? Somebody asked.
Sorry, I was on mute.
No,
Line
that's okay.
lines and colors. I'm actually like uh this is kind of a hard question to ask to answer because like my process kind of changes every time I paint. Um but I guess usually I start off with line work. And then I kind of just paint over it. It's a little hard to explain.
That's okay. I think we got somewhat of an answer for that question, but great. So I want to just whip through a bunch of questions. So be patient with me as we go through this. So question from community: what is Terra doing about copying and theft of art? Well, that's a really wonderful question. So right now we are. And I think, having a lot of these art communities around is very important for the ecosystem. One thing that we're doing is we are independently curating artists at this time. We don't have a fully open ecosystem where the entire world can just start minting and throwing art up on there, where we've seen a certain scenario on a certain platform where people have copyright issues or have stolen artworks and then minted them. To get into our platform and to get showcased, you actually have to go through me. Then you have to go through a very light background check. And I don't mean, like a credit card check. I'm just saying we do examine the work that you've done, the reputation, your social media, to make sure that it is you. We do have a verification process as well. But we are out for protecting the artists, protecting the platform, just staying away and protecting thieves or fraud or copyright infringement. We are taking that very seriously, and we are not messing around with that. So right now we are independently curating these artists one by one. And I know I said that 4 times, but I want to get that very through to the community. So if you are interested in coming on, you can reach out to me in Discord. You can reach out to our Twitter account. We do have a waitlist form signed up, but you will have to speak to the team to get onto our platform to verify that everything is clean and thorough 100%. So let's go to the next question. Question from community for artists. What challenges have you faced in the crypto space? So if you guys, whoever wants to jump in and answer that, feel free.
I guess one of the challenges is trying to not like create art specifically to cater to people, to collectors, and keep kind of your identity in your art, because I know that of course like sales are important, but if we kind of think on if we kind of just focus on we'll make art that sells, that people that we think people will like, instead of art that we actually want to make. So I think that's one challenge that we I think constantly have to struggle with, or at least I do.
Yeah, yeah. To me, is the crypto aspect of it is like really understanding the crypto space, like how Ethereum works, how wallet works, how to be secure. This definitely is the challenge for me, learning about all that and being secure, and because it's really important that you know how it works to be like safe. And yeah, I think that's it.
Now, do you guys you think on our platform, what we think is really cool, because we want to lower the barrier to entry from the more traditional artists and traditional collectors versus the crypto collectors who are can get very techy, right? And they understand wallets, of course. It's very simple stuff to them. To traditional users, it might not be. So one thing we do is we have our collectibles listed in a USD value right now that gives people the option to also pay with a credit card. So to just kind of go build on your point, check on what you're saying, we've acknowledged that, and we realize that sometimes what can be so simple to us because we've become so used to it, we really have to bear in mind the things that we're used to make other people uncomfortable, and that could affect sales, business, or interest in the product. Like going on what Chuck said, like, oh, I really love her work, but I don't know how to get it. So I get a little frustrated. So I'm just going to pass. Right. And we don't want that to happen. So that's great. It did before I move on to one of the other questions, did anybody else want to speak on that question in regards to where was the question? What challenges you have faced in crypto? Anybody want to jump in, or should I just move on to the next question?
You can go.
I can't see the thing. Danny, did you want to say something? I have like a pop-up on here. I can't see you.
No, it's cool. I guess it's gas fees being expensive is the main issue, but other
Yeah. Yes, that is absolutely the case. I feel like I just constantly am pitching our product here, but for those that don't know, Terra is moving into a partnership with Matic. So we think they are kind of winning the sidechain battle right now. For those that are perhaps not,
especially for NFTs.
Yes, for those that perhaps are not so techie in here, just imagine a very busy highway during rush hour traffic, and somehow, if you can always imagine to build a highway right on top of the highway with traffic, you'd obviously go much faster, it'd be much smoother. Well, that's essentially what a sidechain is, for lack of a better metaphor. You are just driving on a parallel highway that is technically part of the same highway. So hopefully I didn't confuse anybody more. But before I do, let me jump into another question here. So Gabby, how is the community spirit with other collectors?
So especially lately, there's actually been an incredible camaraderie between collectors. Of course, you're battling each other when you're bidding for artwork, and that's mainly great for the artist and bad for my wallet. But I've actually had the opportunity to hang out in a few private servers with some of the top collectors in the space. And it's just amazing how there are a lot of people with different backgrounds all come into crypto in different ways. Some of them through virtual worlds like Decentraland. Some of them coming more from crypto trading. Myself coming from games. Just having these very different interests and then coming together because of art. And yeah, so we're actually starting to do a lot more projects with fellow collectors in the space that will advance kind of the crypto art scene more. So yeah, I think for a lot of these collectors, this is uh, for one, you're taking part in a very fun hobby that's kind of robbed you of most of your available ETH. But second, you also can tell that you are at the cusp of something very special and very early in a new industry that is absolutely going to disrupt the art space. So yeah, it's just really fun, and through efforts like this Terra Virtua Art Gallery, a couple of other initiatives that we're doing to help promote artists and their art soon. Yeah, we're just gonna see a lot more collective efforts from the collector community rather than just people doing it by themselves.
Cool. And I have a question for Danny, but while you're speaking, Gabby, a question from Crypto Blocked In: How important how important to you think it is for the type of exact contract that the art is used / created, having as much on chain, etc.? Would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so this is something actually that I've kind of learned from Jimmy of Avastars and Infi NFT. So if you look at the short-term view, it almost like doesn't matter as long as you have kind of an artwork that is represented by a token. But if you think of the nature of blockchain and where the artwork that is minted on the blockchain, the artwork that you bought, that you collected, that you prize and you treasure, you want it to be in your wallet forever, then you have to start thinking about how exactly is it stored on the token. When you're buying the artwork, the NFT artwork, you're actually buying a token with metadata on it. And sometimes the artwork that is on that metadata is, for example, an IPFS. It's going to live on chain forever. Sometimes the high-res version lives maybe on an AWS server, wherein if one day that server is shut down, then you're actually going to have a blank token with no artwork on it. So as a collector and as someone starting to think about this hobby long term, especially since I've started putting in serious amounts of money on it, I think it's good for both the artists themselves, the collectors as well, and the platforms that are doing this minting to think about really putting as much of this artwork on chain as much as possible, because we want this artwork that we bought for, it might have been 1 ETH, 10 ETH, 100 ETH, 0.01 ETH, doesn't matter. We want that artwork to live on chain and be there 100 years from now, even when I'm not here anymore.
That's a very great answer, and I think we might have to clip that answer. I do have some questions directly for some of the artists here. So, Danny, your work is inspired by classics, yet contemporary in feel. Do you define your style as symbolism or novel?
More just for fun, actually. I really enjoy the old artworks, and I tried to do a new take on them. And some of them I did a series of Ethereum-inspired famous paintings, and I kind of had fun with it. There was the scream, and I just replaced the guy's head with an Ethereum, and it was more for fun. It's not to be taken too seriously. It's more lighthearted. I do my own art out of my own need for expression, and that's out of my own sense of humor, I guess. So I don't know if that answers the question. I guess it's neither.
Good. And I have one for Shelly, actually. Your work depicts mostly girls. Can this be considered a reflection of modern feminism, or is that just what you like to paint?
To be honest, I don't really get too deep, I think, when I make those artworks based on women. But I guess maybe subconsciously there is a part of that, right? Like, because I know that I'm really drawn to female characters that are not just like ordinary people, right? Like I would always love to add like a magical flair to them, or like a supernatural angle to it, or like, you know, make them badass. It just really like the idea of like elevating women as like this fantastical being. So maybe it is like, I guess I just don't really think about that, but when I think about it further, I guess that could be part of it. Yeah. Aside from, you know, it really being fun to draw on women. I just love drawing like flowy lines and curves. So yeah.
Cool. Good answer. So let me jump into the next one, because I know it's really for everyone. I'm interested in this as well. Do you own any other art by any other crypto artists? And this is an open question, so if anyone wants to jump in and ask. Gabby, you're excluded. We clearly know the answer from you on this, but I think this is a question, you know, for each artist. If you guys want to jump in and say, you know, I'm curious too. You know, what do you guys, as an artist, what do you look at for other creators if you were to collect something?
Yeah, I actually do own a few pieces from other artists. I think I do own a piece from Czech. And also, I occasionally buy pieces on Rarible when I can afford it. um, uh, yeah, I want to showcase them, but I am really bad at names, and I might get their names wrong. So I'm just gonna not say who they are. But I usually try to, you know, buy art pieces that I like as well, because I want to support other artists, uh, while I'm also earning from my art.
Cool.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I have some pieces that I bought, but the majority of my collection is like exchange of gifts and things like that. I think we, as crypto artists, we like to like change which with each other art, and I have like a lot of art that we did like for a gift or to exchange it, and I think it's really fun. And I bought some art that I can afford right now, but I really wish that I was like a big whale with infinity Ethereum to like buy all of it.
Me too. Definitely me too. Great. Did Danny or Shelly, did you want to jump in and chat, or I can move on to the next question if you guys wish, but if you want to jump in, feel free.
Oh yeah, so I do buy crypto art from other artists. Some of them that I can name is Diego Rodriguez. I really love his pieces. They have the cyberpunk aesthetic, and then I love how polished it looks. So I bought one of his pieces, and then another artist that I bought from is Zakalwe. He also does like cyberpunk inspired stuff. So I guess, yeah, you can see a kind of theme here. But I also like, I'm kind of drawn to like purples and pinks. And another piece that I bought from is from Jam Factory. He did this pixel art animated piece, so he's very prolific. Like he does music, he does animation, and yeah. So I knew that I had to get a piece from him, but I would really love to be able to afford more pieces. There's just so much great art out there. But those are some of the few that I've purchased.
Yeah, me too. I've also bought art. I think as artists you can't afford as much as collectors. So I'm hoping that I can get more later on. But I've bought a few on Rarible editions. There was Christy Glass I bought from. Yeah, her stuff's great. And it's really nice to be able to buy from other artists, because I'm limited to my own, what I can do, my own capabilities. So it's nice to be able to support people or own something that's different from what I own. And swapping, exchanging is really nice as well. Because for me, my own art isn't as exciting as someone else's, because I'm used to it. But swapping, and then I get someone else's. So it's really nice. But
it's an interesting perspective.
Thank you.
No, it's really interesting because yeah, it's true, right? You know, you create something and you're like, oh, this is so plain to me, but to somebody else, it's like, I mean, when I'm looking at your art, I'm like, this is fantastic. But you've probably seen it so many times that you're just like, oh yeah, no, it's just another piece for me. But that's an interesting perspective. I like the idea of artists doing some trades as well. So I'm jealous. I don't think anyone would want to trade. I don't think anyone would want to trade art with me. But cool. So let me jump in. Question from community. So does Terra offer secondary sales revenue for artists? That is absolutely the case. Similar to other platforms of what these artists here have mentioned before. We do offer secondary sales royalty rate that is attached to every artwork. So the artworks will, the artists will definitely be getting revenues into perpetuity from that, from of course the initial sales as well as secondary sales on that. So that is absolutely the case. We're a big believer in that, and making sure the artists are paid, making sure they're paid fair, and you know, those numbers will be explained as we start onboarding artists individually. So to all the artists, I have a 5-year-old daughter who is an aspiring artist. I've been really lucky that Gabby and some other collectors have been purchasing her work, Unicorn Olivia art, which I actually own a piece of, so I love her work. I feel lucky that I can mint and save her art now on the chain forever, especially to see her progression as she learns, grows. Do you see the children's crypto art scene growing? And would you have liked this when you were all young ladies to have your original works kept? Interesting question.
I guess I can chip in on that. I think that I would have loved something like this, like very, very early on in my life. I don't know if it looks like it, but I am. Uh, I'm in my 30s, so and I moved a lot when I was growing up, so I didn't really get to keep any of my old artworks, and it would have been nice to, you know, kind of look back at all the art that I did before when I was younger. Sadly, I don't have any of those pieces anymore, where I don't have access to them. So now with crypto art and, you know, being able to mint your pieces and have them live forever is very great. And I can't wait to see, like, you know, what else, how the space grows.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Czech, I know you happen to be one of the younger artists here on the board today. You know, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, man, I would love to have that. I like when I was a child, I like draw like comics and stories and things like that. So I would love.
4 years ago when you were a child.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to like incentivizing kids to do art, and I think it's amazing. We unlock Women of Crypto Art. We have a Discord and we have a chat exclusively to showcase kids artworks, and I think it's really fun. It's really amazing to see. I think we as an artist, we all have this child inside us that makes us draw and paint all the time. So I think that's amazing to have this for kids.
Yeah, I agree. I actually own a couple pieces from Unicorn Olivia art. Dan happens to be a friend of mine and introduced me, and I said, you know, this is brilliant. You know, starting to let young children mint some of their hand paintings and drawings, and you know, we think it's cute now, but it makes me think, you know, imagine owning a scribble from Da Vinci or something. You know, that's just the way I think. You know, what is this market gonna look like in 20, 30, 40 years, right? I mean, look at the technology that's been happening. I've asked all of you to explain what you're doing, and there's different programs and different functions, and you're talking, it's just empowering the hand drawing tenfold, and what's going to happen in the next 10 years for these young artists. So I think there's a few collectors out there that view this even as just a pure investment piece in case an artist turns to be out the next great thing. And I think it's exciting for kids too. You know, I think as their parents, and I tease Dan about it all the time, you know, you can save money for your kids for school, you know, save money for them growing up from doing some of their art now. And they love the attention. I sent a video to Olivia, who's young, and she was just super ecstatic. And to see a young child get inspired through other artists and then taking it upon herself to draw her own art, it's really heartwarming, because you're now she's got a hobby, and she's probably going to be exploring those options in school and with her friends. So it's
She's the
interesting
richest
how
5-year-old there is.
yeah, right, yeah, she doesn't get an allowance. She just sells stuff for like 2 ETH, and she's fine. So I want to see if there's any last questions before we let everybody go. I know we've been on for some time, but
I want to
if
answer one of those questions. So, yeah, here, name some other up and coming artists we can look at. So, one of the things that I do as a collector is I actually love kind of digging up artists that maybe aren't as well known, or not the people who are kind of being bid up to 10, 28. I like to find people very early in their crypto art career, and maybe buy one of their first works. All I really need to see is that, number one, of course, I have to like the art from a personal level, and number two, I can see that like this person is really trying to understand the crypto art space and trying to kind of uh, make it known that they're gonna stay in this space in their own way. So having said that, I'll probably just name three or four. There are too many, and so one of them is. Orabel. So Orabel is a French artist. Just she draws a lot of portraits as well, and I bought a couple of her works. Just really good. Number one, second is Zakawe. He's been mentioned here earlier. I believe he's from the UK. Just draws a lot of like sci-fi looking stuff, and just yeah, just really great art. He just minted this Genesis piece in a known origin recently, which I was able to collect, and I think he is going a long way. Um, Ines Merino is a artist from, I believe, Portugal, who has just some incredible work. She's on Maker's Place, and she hasn't gotten, I would say, broad traction among collectors yet. But that actually allows me to kind of collect a lot of the early work of a lot of these really talented artists. And I guess next is that he's not really just super up and coming, but sometimes some of the audio artists are, I guess, a little bit underappreciated just because you cannot see their work. And what I really love about NFTs is that you can have these audio-visual collabs. So Joe Craig, which was in the collab of Check earlier that we saw, he just does really great kind of electronica type work. He has a full album of NFTs out and has just amazing collabs with different visual artists to kind of bring out his work. So yeah, so those are some of the artists, and I can talk about this all day, but I'll stop right there.
This is a great question that I'm definitely excited to ask and put under pressure all the artists here. The infamous question: when you describe your work, is it crypto art or is it digital art? The world wants to know, including myself.
I'll go first. I think for me it's just I just call it art. Because
That's cheating. You're
I
cheating.
think
You have
for
to you have to answer the question. No cheating allowed. No saying I just call art or I'm not sure. The whole world needs an answer from all the artists here. We need to solve this problem of I've seen so many people ask this question and fight over
The
it.
whole industry will collapse if she doesn't answer this properly.
Ooh.
I think with when I specifically say crypto art, I mean that in that it's minted in the space. Like it's an NFT. That to me is what crypto art is. Digital art is anything done
Mhm.
using digital tools. But yeah, if when I talk about art pieces and just talk about it with my friends, it's just art. They can't they don't have that distinction. So
Mhm.
um particularly when I'm talking about the crypto space and me minting my work, then that's when I start calling my art pieces crypto art.
Yeah, I think for me it depends on.
It's art that can make you rich.
It depends on who's asking, because it's explaining it to people can take a very long time if they don't know what it is. So
Good answer.
usually, if it's people in real life, I just say it's digital art, and if it's people online, then I'll say crypto art and give them an explanation. But people just don't get it at the moment. I need to actually just have a business card with the definition, and I can just give it to people, because otherwise I have to go into a 5-minute conversation with everyone.
They're still going to ask you questions if you do that. They'll probably
No,
ask
Actually,
more
a good
questions.
idea.
What do you do with the artwork?
Yeah, it's like when you try to explain what is a non-fungible token to someone, like the person's like, "What is this?" And like, I try to explain like to my mother, and like she don't get it. So I just say, "Mom, I'm doing art on the internet, and I got money for it. So just trust me, okay?"
It doesn't make you popular at parties explaining what NFTs are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait
To me,
5
it's
years
like,
though.
yeah, to me, it's like crypto art because it's on chain, so it's not like Caroline said, is like digital art is like just digital art, and crypto art is like art on the blockchain. So to me, that's the difference.
Yeah, I have the same answer as Carol and Czech. So yeah, I mean, digital art is just art made digitally, and crypto art is art that's put on the blockchain, non-fungible tokens. I mean, that's how I would differentiate it.
Very, very, very good answers. I'm actually quite floored by this, that they were so good. I was hoping to throw you guys off and say, oh no, we just call it crypto art, but excellent, excellent answers. So I know I am being pinged. I think that is about it for the questions that we have received for today. I just want to take this time, Gabby, Shelly, Danny, Caroline, Czech, thank you so much. This is awesome. All of your work is utterly fantastic. We're looking forward to obviously, hopefully getting you onto the platform soon. I just chopped that whole sentence. Let me state that again. Hopefully we are going to be working together with you on the platform soon. So looking forward to working with each and one of you, very much. And Gabby, if you wanted to make any closing remarks, we're just very appreciative that you took the time to, work with us and set up, your gallery and your collections of these fine artists. And hope that, all of you as artists, we hope that you enjoyed what the gallery looks like, the platform, and looking forward to what Terra Virtua has to offer for artists.
Yeah, so for me, this has actually been a really special moment. So I've been talking to these artists for a while, mostly just, over, Twitter or Telegram or what have you. But being able to share this time live with them and then see their artworks in high res walking in this gallery, yeah, it's been a real treat. And I've had so much fun just doing this over the last hour. I'd love to do this again.
Awesome. I mean, definitely looking forward. Like I said, I know I reached out to each one of you, so absolutely looking forward to what you're going to bring for designs to the table. And now that I'm very well aware of the fantastic work that you guys do, I'll be looking at your next artworks each and see what you guys bring. So, any questions for these artists? We did put up their socials. If you want to check out our art page, it's T Virtua Art. Or go to at Terra_Virtua. Check us out. We have a bunch of tweets with all of these artist tags in there. So if you wanted to give them a follow too, so that show them some support. And I need my coffee. I'm just can't speak right now, but show them some support. And that's it. Any questions, feel free to follow us again on Twitter or Discord, or message me personally in Discord. So thanks again, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, whatever you're located. And Gabby, many special thanks for being able to host this with me today.
Thank you. No, this has been real great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, bye.